evening, Hassan. Good evening, Callum. Gentlemen, you both know the rules. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Please touch gloves now. Come on, fighting at the bell.
Defending his world crown for the first time in an arena he's dreamt of lighting up since he was a little boy. Born into boxing on Merseyside with older brothers Paul, Stephen and Liam. They say he's the best, and Callum Smith has certainly looked that, but business to deal with as he meets his former sparring partner and acclaimed middleweight, Hassan N'jikam. There's a significant size and youth advantage for Smith, who has momentum, and N'jikam did have that win over Martin Murray, and he's mixed in very, very good company, Paulie, over the years, and normally gives pretty good showing. He can go down, but he can get up. He's a tough sword, isn't he? But look at the size difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've mentioned how big of a super middleweight Callum Smith is. And was not the biggest middleweight. As a matter of fact, he told us yesterday in the fighter meeting that he could still make middleweight, but for the opportunity, he's come up in weight. Now, he's a clever guy, he's a crafty guy, and he's got a lot of heart. But he does go down, and he is susceptible to being hurt.
He's won 37 of 40 in a career that goes back to 2004. Hassan N'jikam, now based in Monaco. Callum Smith undefeated, and he has 10 first-round knockouts on the slate. Can start very, very fast, but also can go the distance. What sort of mood will Smith be in tonight?
And I'm trying to test his legs a little bit, but changing the distance, changing the gap, and seeing if Smith will cut off the ring, seeing if Smith is able to close the gap behind the punches. And we'll see from there how N'jikam plans to work off this movement, of course.
Coming out fight, wasn't it, against George Groves? He was spectacular that night.
Absolutely. I think in England, Callum Smith was never a secret. I think everybody knew just how good he was and the potential he had. But I think on the world stage, you know, back on American shores and the rest of the world, you know, we weren't quite sure about Callum Smith quite yet. But when he dismantled Groves the way he did, it was really a coming out party. Good body shot there by Smith.
Yep, left hook to the body. That's going to be a key shot, you'd have thought. Whipping another one in against the naturally lighter man. Will N'jikam have any speed on Smith? Smith, who has to pack his body into the super middleweight frame. Most think he will end up a light heavyweight, but he says he's fine, he's comfortable at it.
I just think if you're a mover, and if you're a guy who moves around the ring and you don't have a lot of power, you're not the most powerful guy, you need a very good jab, you know, because you need something to establish a distance and establish the respect of your opponent, you know. We saw Josh Kelly earlier in the fight, earlier in this card, not use enough jabs as he was moving around and not have enough power to get the respect of Ray Robinson. And I'm wondering if N'jikam here, not using a jab, using a lot of movement, but he's not really discouraging Smith at all with this movement. Maybe he's just trying to gauge him for the first round.
It's a long right kick jab, the left hand, and down goes N'jikam. 20 seconds left in the opener. There's the power early of Callum Smith. Has he got time to finish N'jikam off? He was shot by that. This isn't sparring now, and Callum Smith normally has predatory finishing instincts. The bell could come and save N'jikam. He falls to the floor. No knockdown, and he survives the round.
Sharp catch and shoot left hook by Callum Smith, transitioning from defense to offense very smoothly.
That's his trademark punch, Paulie, that catch and counter left hook. So dangerous with it. That's the shot that sent George Groves reeling, then he stepped in and got the finish. But Callum Smith just looks like a huge light heavyweight in there in comparison to Hassan N'jikam. Hassan N'jikam, a lovely mover, very athletic, but I think the size difference here is just going to be far too much. There's that short left hook counter, bang, right on the chin.
And you see, in America we call that a catch and shoot, as you receive the shot and block it, and then you come back right with your own shot, right from where you block it, the opponent's shot.
Down the pipe, we'll chop it down, all right? But get your feet in close enough before
there
we
was
throw.
Shock, and I think there was surprise about the power too. Up at super middleweight, Hassan N'jikam is a minute long enough. The doctor's having a good look. Out he comes for the second round, attempting to somehow wrench this WBA super middleweight title off Callum Smith, but This could be Smith very quickly. I think he wants to make a statement here. He's been out the ring a long time. He wants to get momentum going back into his career. Remind the public what he possesses. What can N'jikam do now?
Same shot.
Down for the second time. Didn't see it coming. Speed and power, and this is a matter of time, Matt.
That's his shot, Adam. Catch and counter, left hook. He was sitting against George Grove. He's absolute master at it. I think this is going to be over fairly soon.
And he tries it with the right hand too. You see that works because Smith does such a good job of keeping his defensive position in an offensive mindset, and you know that allows him to be able to counter right from where he's at.
Sharp right hand as well. No ring rust for Callum Smith, and N'jikam bravely tries to fight back. He's always done that through his career. Bounced up and down off the canvas a number of times and can go 12 rounds. So Smith knows that.
That's a good point, Adam. You know, I remember the Peter Quillen fight. He was down something like 5 or 6 times in the fight. The fight went the distance, and he actually gave Quillen a good run for his money.
But this is against the premier super middleweight in the world. And it's a different power.
Yeah, and even the physical strength, Adam. N'jikam was struggling to even get a hold of Callum there. When they were up close, Callum could bully him, push him off, create room. And for such a tall guy, he can really fight well on the inside. Callum Smith, he finds those short punches, gets that angle round the back of the elbow.
Every shot that he's landing clean is troubling N'jikam.
He reminds me almost with the way he stands and closes the gap like this with his high guard, like a Diego Corrales. But he's got a bit of a better jab than Diego, actually.
One of my favorite fighters of all time, Paulie.
Many people's. Very exciting fighter.
Flicking the jab, N'jikam.
Smith answers with his own jab.
Yep, that's the difference. All the technical advantage and the physical size with Smith. 2 knockdowns already within 2 rounds.
A lot of razzle-dazzle from N'jikam with all this movement and jukes and jiving, but he's got to create something that's going to trouble Smith. Smith is starting to close the gap little by little. You can see the distance at which he's fighting at now is a bit closer, and he's going to be able to reach him down more and more if N'jikam doesn't do something.
Good lad, you okay?
Yeah. Just loading up.
Joe Gallagher as ever in the corner, and another sweet countering left.
Yeah, for such a big guy, he lands those short left hook counters so well. Probably the best in the game at it. Short, beautiful left hook, and stays defensively so tucked up so well as well. And I like the way he didn't go gung-ho or knock out crazy after the knockdown. He just settled down. He's patient. He knows he's got the power to take him out. He doesn't have to try and force it.
Meanwhile, backstage, finishing touches, warming up, Anthony Joshua and the team that surrounded him through those training weeks in Sheffield and recently in Miami. Been in New York a week. Callum Smith slightly longer in the red trunks, of course, for Liverpool, the champions of Europe. And at the moment it looks like it will be a double for Callum Smith. 2 knockdowns inside the first 2 rounds. What can Hassan N'jikam do, the likeable guy from Monte Carlo, originally from Cameroon? Decent fighter, but this was always going to be hard, Matt.
Yeah, and I think what Callum's doing here, he's just stalking him. He knows that eventually Hassan N'jikam's going to have to take a chance and try and close that distance, probably lunge in with a left hook or right hand like it has been, and then Callum's just going to catch and counter with that left hook like he has done and cause the knockdowns.
That jab, Paulie, such a great weapon. He used it brilliantly in the World Super Series.
Yeah, and it's really a spear, you know, it's really a sharp shot, like shoots it in there like a dart, and it can be bothersome, and it also allows a guy like N'jikam to realize that Smith can't reach him further distances than he's accustomed to, as he's such a big guy with such a big reach.
Big right hand again, and a left hook. And down up against the ropes. That's where Smith wants him. Onto the body as well.
This is the veteran experience of N'jikam. He knows how to be in those pockets and survive them. But again, he's going to have to figure out something to get the respect of Smith, or give Smith at least something to worry about.
Yeah, it's that clever jerky start, isn't it, that he doesn't take them all clean. But what can he do to hurt Smith?
Exactly. You can make a guy miss it so many times before he realizes, there's nothing really coming back at him, and he's going to continue to up the pace of his pressure. And that's what Smith is starting to do. In the last round, he got a little closer. You need to start countering when you make your guy miss. If you only make him miss consistently and never counter him, well, the guy's going to realize, hey, I have nothing to lose by continuing to stalk and throw, because I'm never paying for it. So even if I miss, it's okay.
Combination back from N'jikam doesn't bother Smith, who just inches forward and lands a right of his own, and another one.
That was a solid straight right hand from Smith. N'jikam certainly felt that one. Good body shot too from Callum Smith.
Yeah, beginning to manhandle N'jikam in there as well, trapping him on these ropes. Lovely uppercuts and precision from Smith. He's been good so far.
Look at the balance of position of Smith. He's really, really a very professional fighter in the way he does this. Even when punches are coming his way, he doesn't lose his position.
Oh, right hand, flat on his back. Hassan N'jikam. He'll get the count, but that was a heavy and awkward fall as well, and his legs have gone, and Callum Smith does make it a double delight for Liverpool. Champions of Europe, and this man is the champion of the world and the best super middleweight out there at the moment, and it was all pretty predictable. Knockdowns in every session, and Hassan N'jikam, the blown-up middleweight, just couldn't cope with Callum Smith, who looked terrific.
And Smith, a guy who, when he gets leverage and range on his right hand, has a powerful right hand, this time added extra power to it. Why? Because he's punching down. N'jikam was getting low. Smith's right hand not only was able to be extended by Smith, but he was able to come punching down, where you're really able to add the extra weight behind it. And you could tell the way N'jikam went down that it was going to be hard for him to beat the count, and if he did, he was very much hurt. Watch N'jikam. He gets too low here. He gets low, and he stays in the range of Smith. Right there.
Yeah, I mean, Callum Smith, for such a tall guy, he don't half-shot up those punches really well. Those catch and counter left hook, and then he can do the distance, the long straight right hand, short right hand, the uppercuts, the body shots,
and he timed it.
He can get you at any distance.
Yeah, jab and timing can beat speed, and N'jikam, well, he tried, but he really wasn't in it at all.
Looking at that replay, N'jikam was actually trying to lunge in with an up jab. Watch N'jikam. He looks for the up jab here. Watch. You see? Right there. He was about to throw the up jab, and Smith timed it perfectly with the right hand. He met him with the shot. He didn't even counter it, because you counter it, you make a miss and throw. He actually met him with the punch.
Yeah, he beat him to the punch, chopped the right hand down. And he was all over the place, N'jikam. I'm glad the referee stopped it, because he was going to get knocked out badly.
19th knockout for Callum Smith. 26 wins on the spin. And I think what we need is some momentum from Callum. Love to see him fight a couple more times this year, back home in Liverpool, maybe in September, and line them up, because he wants the big ones. He wants the likes of Billy Joe Saunders, Chris Eubank Jr., Canelo, Golovkin, but he just needs a lot of ring time and a lot of attention.
He's got to be busy. I'd like to see him fight Ramirez, the other super middleweight, and you know why? For me, Callum Smith is the best super middleweight bar none. I think without a doubt he is. I mean, his performance against George Groves, who, by the way, what a great champion George Groves was, and Callum just went through him, really. I mean, he dictated, he dominated at range, his straight right hands, his jab, even before he hurt with that counter left hook. But you're right, Adam, he needs to be busy now.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Charlie Fitch calls a halt to this contest. The official time of the stoppage, 2 minutes and 56 seconds of round number 3. Your winner by TKO. He's still undefeated and still the WBC Diamond, the Ring Magazine, and WBA super middleweight champion of the world from Liverpool, England, Callum Smith.
Delighted Liverpool fans. What an afternoon and an evening they're having in New York. Such a likeable guy, Callum Smith. He's the quiet one of the four of them.